Whether you're looking for manufactured or natural stone to accent or update your exterior or interior project of any size, Centurion Stone of Iowa offers a variety of styles, patterns, and colors for every need. Centurion Stone, our own manufactured stone product, has the look and feel of natural stone and is available in over 200 color and pattern combinations. We also provide natural stone for interior and exterior projects. Our Des Moines and Omaha locations are open daily. Browse our wide variety of product samples with our helpful staff. They'll answer any questions that you have. Check us out on the web at centurionstoneofiowa.com. And hello, welcome to POSTGAME here on the Cyclone Fanatic social media feeds. Could be watching us on YouTube as well. You might be listening on the podcast afterwards. My name is Chris Williams. Iowa State loses to Oklahoma today, 27-13. And we'll break all of that down, give you some fresh reaction to it here on a Halloween weekend. Feel free to leave some comments in the corner here if you're joining us on the stream. And I want to thank our sponsors, Carl Auto Group, Carl Chevrolet, of course, and Centurion Stone of Iowa. Just saw their video here. Thanks to all of them for their sponsorship. Iowa State drops to 0-5 in the Big 12. Man, really disappointing effort today by the offense for Iowa State. You know, the stats are going to be a little bit skewed here at the end of this one based on some, just stuff that happened down the stretch. It really not representative or not a great representation of the game itself when you look at the fact that the Cyclones here, I'm looking at all this for the first time, throw it for 312 yards with Hunter Deckers today. He did have 3 interceptions with that, and it took him 57 passing attempts to get to 312 yards. Listen, this is about running the football for Iowa State, and it's you don't have to be that smart of a football person to know this, that they can't run the ball in the Big 12. Finally, Hunter Deckers uses his legs a little bit in the fourth quarter and runs it 4 times for 31 yards, but the running backs cannot run the ball. Jairo Brock, 11 carries for 22 yards. Cartevius Norton, good to have him back healthy, but 11 carries for 27 yards, and what they've got to do is figure out why they can't run the damn football. Listen, Hunter Deckers has a lot of progressing to do as a quarterback. The expectation for a young player, and I know it's his 3rd year in the program, it's his 1st year playing, for a young player to throw it 57 times, you've got to have some support. And he's seeing ghosts out there. We've been saying this for a while now, and it seemed like they were on the right track in that game against Texas. And that's what's so disappointing and frustrating about this loss today for Iowa State is there was no handoff from that game whatsoever. Just and what's really disappointing is the fact that Iowa State's playing good enough football defensively to really be undefeated right now if you're better on offense. I mean, the defense has not had a poor outing all season long, and that includes today. 27 points by Oklahoma. One of them, it's going to get called a special teams, but it was on like the 2-yard line or wherever it was. It was that fake field goal. I mean, with those, I don't even understand why you go out and try and block the field goal. Just line it up in your defense and expect that. But that's a whole other deal. I don't, So the point being, the defense only gives up a couple of touchdowns today. and they were really, really good. There was a situation, where Iowa State comes to, gets it within 7, gets a huge stop on defense, decent field position. I mean, 2 play calls that I didn't really understand. You run it a couple times. You run an option. Iowa State doesn't run the option. And then you set your quarterback up in a predictable spot where everybody knew he was going to throw the football. Oklahoma blitzes, gets in his head, boom, interception, makes it really difficult to come back from. So, yeah, there's a lot of blame to go around, right? There's a lot of blame to go around with this offense right now. I'm just disappointed to see that they didn't progress in the bye week. That's what sucks, right? Because it looked positive, right? It looked like things were getting better. We all thought after that Texas game. And really you took 2 steps forward that game, and you took 3 steps back today. The defense was awesome, though. Just a big time performance by Anthony Johnson today. Orion Vance was phenomenal. TJ Tampa, 4 pass breakups today. Between TJ Tampa and Bo Freeler, that's 2 first-team all Big 12 guys in your secondary. I mean, just really an unbelievable performance by those guys, and you kind of just feel like you're maybe, I don't know, this is a big statement. It might be the best defense in the John Haycock era. Maybe, I don't know, but they're really, really freaking good. MJ Anderson, Will McDonald had a great game today against the run, and it's just really frustrating to see Iowa State sputter on offense. Watching right now, for those of you watching, West Virginia does have the football with a chance to go down and beat TCU, and that would be in Morgantown. Obviously, TCU 7-0, the 7th-ranked team in the country, so keep an eye on that. But yeah, I mean, I'm anxious to see what happens here because I don't want. I hope Neil Brown doesn't get fired, because Iowa State's got to play West Virginia next week. Are you really that confident going into that one? I mean, I'm not. It's frustrating. You all are in the same spot. I wish I could give you better analysis, but it's pretty easy to analyze. You don't have to do this for a living like I do to analyze the offense right now. They can move the ball sometimes. And even when they do, they just have a hard time putting it in the end zone. If Iowa State gets stopped in the red zone, they're not scoring. At least a touchdown. It's going to be a field goal. The Deckers thing, I have a lot of people asking me, well, why don't you put another guy in? I just don't know if it's that easy. Rocco back, the true freshman. I mean, you guys saw him earlier in the year, and I think it was against Ohio. Looks really small right now. I think he does need some developmental time. And then you have a walk-on in Ashton Cook. So it's like, I just don't know if it's easy enough to be like, oh, well, let's bench the quarterback. I don't know if that's going to provide an answer at this point in time for Iowa State. I think you're better off rolling with Deckers. But he's got to be better. There's no doubt about it. I put it on the run game first. And Deckers has to, and if this is coaching, if it's him, whatever, he's got to run the football. He's got to run the football. I tend to agree with James here more than that 12 is sure there's some bad mistakes there today, but I think there was a lot that led up to those. There's not many first-year quarterbacks in college football good enough to go out there and throw it 57 times and beat good Big 12 teams. He's just not that developed yet. There's got to be a threat of a run game, and Iowa State has none. This was the worst rush defense in the Big 12 Conference. Iowa State averaged 2.4 yards per carry. It just doesn't hack it. Yeah, and David chimes in that there are quite a bit of drops today. I think I counted 5, maybe 6 drops today. So it's not all on on Deckers. I think that's a really good point. Josh, what happened to Alex Bowman? He's actually starting for South Dakota today, so he's down at the FCS level. Don't know. He hasn't really played. This is his first start. I do think, too, in all fairness, I'm not sure Jyrell Brock is 100%. He just doesn't have the burst that he did early in the year. I also think, too, that Norton, he looks like a super talented guy who needed those reps against the Ohios and SEMOs of the world. He looks very hesitant when it comes to hitting the holes. Now, clearly there's a whole offensive line conversation that we have to have. But while we're dissecting these running backs, it seems like Norton is hesitant. I think he's going to be really good, but I just don't think he's ready. And right now he's learning, this was his first game back to play like real snaps since like the first game of the season, and you're throwing him in there against Oklahoma, which, again, bad defense on the scheme of things, but still really talented guys. I think Norton will be a good player. I wouldn't give up on him at all. Wouldn't give up on him at all. Good to see Jalen Knoll get in the end zone again today on some of the more positive things. I love him. I think he's going to be really good. 10 catches today by Xavier. But again, 17 targets for Hutchinson. The next highest is 10. It's tough. But anyways, I'm going to watch the end of this West Virginia game. And Jared and Connor and Jacqueline are covering the postgame. We'll have all that for you. Just busy time of year coming up. Basketball and women's basketball and wrestling all starting up this week. So it's an exciting time. Thank you all. We appreciate you guys for watching and listening through thick and thin. Iowa State loses to Oklahoma today. 27-13 is your final. Bloom and I will be podcasting for you again on Sunday night. Take care.